Afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Jay Meszar. I'm a solutions consultant here at IMAGINiT. And we're going to take a look at the BLK360 today. And of course, if you haven't heard recent news on BLK360, of course, there is an all new one. It is a bit different than its predecessor. And I'm going to show you some of this PowerPoint today. And we're going to actually turn the webcam on, take a look at the scanner. And we're going to do some scans. So, feel free as we go along. Lori will take the questions in the questions section here, go to meeting, and we'll try to get everything answered that we can. And anything we can't answer, we'll certainly find out for you and get back to you. All right, let's get started. So, when we talk about unboxing the BLK360, we want to know what we're getting. And, there are different different parts and pieces that might come with different packages with the BLK360. And so if you're looking to buy just a BLK360, maybe you have the BLK360, we're going to refer to as its predecessor as the G1. Maybe you have the G1 and you only want the scanner and a couple of batteries. You can buy the scanner as a module only, and that of course is going to give you the scanner, batteries, the multi-charger, a transportation case, the USB-C cable, a microfiber cloth, some documentation, and the BLK Live app. That is capable of exporting a simple E57 of single scans at a time. So of course that means you will need some other software to register the data together. Maybe you already have Register 360 from another scanner. Great, you can bring data in and use your data from your BLK and put it into Register 360. All right. One of the other things we have is what we call a starter pack, and this is probably the most popular thing that we would be selling with the BLK G2. And of course, that includes the scanner, everything else I mentioned on the previous slide, as well as tripod and a mission bag, right? Now, the thing that we're also getting with this is Register 360 as a Register 360 BLK edition as a 1-year subscription. Now, if you're not familiar with Register 360 BLK edition, that is Leica's registration software that works with all the BLK devices, right? Just so you know that it does not allow for importing of other data, like maybe the P-series scanner or an RTC 360. So we can't bring that other data in, but if you're using a BLK, there's a little bit of a savings there for you over the full version of Register 360. And of course, with the starter pack, you get that for 1 year, right? And of course, with that is a CYCLONE-based subscription, and you have to have this with, Leica requires this for the Register 360 software. So of course, they come together. Okay. Then Leica has what they call a starter pack plus. And of course, we're once again including the scanner, everything from the module only package, the tripod, the mission bag. So what we're doing here is building on the previous packages, and of course, including Register 360, CYCLONE base, as well as Publisher Pro, which as of the first year is being renamed to CYCLONE Workflow. So that's part of the changes Leica's making at the beginning of the year here. So you'll be able to get that as well. Right. And then of course there's Leica's CYCLONE 3DR Pro Edition software, right? So if you haven't used 3DR, if you've never heard of what 3DR is, it is a Leica product that allows us to bring in point cloud data from, and not only point cloud data, but in this instance, we'll use point cloud data as an example, bring in point cloud data and make different objects out of it, whether we're creating a mesh or we want to analyze our point cloud. One that seems to be very popular lately is people wanting to analyze deviation, maybe in an elevator shaft. Walls, for whatever reason, are very popular right now. People are trying to find deviations in those walls, and in 3DR, we're able to analyze our point cloud data and look and see, hey, is that wall leaning at all? Is it maybe have any waves built into it, or if there's anything wrong with the construction of that wall, we should be able to figure out what's going on, and of course, label the deviations in the wall, or maybe we want floor flatness. We can do floor flatness in 3DR and analyze that and label it, create a custom report. Or maybe we're looking to get some data and simply take it to another software somewhere where 3DR allows us to create a mesh out of our point cloud data and maybe then export it out as, let's say, an OBJ file or an STL file. Okay, so there's a lot of possibilities with 3DR. We could go on and on, but we're not here for 3DR. We're here for the BLK, and we'll continue on and talk about the other options that we have here, right? So we have the advanced pack, and of course, everything we've talked about so far, and we'll keep going. And this gives us the actual full version of Register 360 rather than the BLK edition. Okay, is that a big deal to you? Well, it certainly could be. Maybe you're getting point cloud data from outside sources in different formats, and you want to be able to combine that data with some BLK data that you're going to have. Certainly, Register 360 will allow for some of those formats to be brought in. For example, maybe you're getting RCP data. Maybe you're getting E57 data. We can use Register 360 to bring all of our data together with our BLK data and make sure that it's getting registered together. Okay. All right. So we've got our advanced pack, and of course, we're also including CloudWorks Ultimate in the advanced pack. Okay. Actually, let me back that up, my mistake. So let me explain for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with CloudWorks Ultimate, or what CloudWorks is. So CloudWorks is Leica's software that is able to be installed over a variety of different applications. Okay, in this case, CloudWorks Ultimate, we see the most common uses are installing it over AutoCAD. Right, so maybe you have you're taking your BLK through buildings and you want to get a 2D floor plan. You can use CloudWorks for AutoCAD to bring in the point cloud data and create 2D floor plans. Maybe you're a Revit user and you're looking to turn point cloud data into 3D models, existing models. We can take our point cloud data from Register 360 and into CloudWorks for Revit. And CloudWorks for Revit would allow us to utilize the point cloud data to create 3D walls, pipes, doors, windows, columns, and more, even ductwork, right? And so, the other one we see often is, CloudWorks for Navisworks. So of course, these are all Autodesk products, and CloudWorks Ultimate goes over a couple of other softwares as well, but those are kind of the ones we see most often. So, if you're looking for a piece of software to help you model existing conditions, you may want to look into the CloudWorks application. All right. So, with all of that software kind of out of the way, let's talk about the BLK360. Right? Now, if you haven't seen this thing yet, or you've kind of looked at it online, boy, I got to tell you, it's small, right? It is very small. And when you say 6 inches high by about 4 inches in diameter, I mean, you know, it's small. And what I'm going to show you here in a little bit, right? So the thing about it is, it's kind of, when you pick it up, it almost just fits in the palm of your hand. And depending on which way you hold it, I guess it will fit in the palm of your hand. Okay. And so one of the things oops, let me. All right. One of the things I want to talk about is, today we're here talking about the new BLK360, and by no means am I here to kind of put down the previous BLK, the G1. Still a fantastic little scanner, but sometimes we want to talk about the newest, the latest and greatest, and like I said, it's pretty fantastic. So let's talk about the cameras, right? So we're a 13 megapixel 4-camera system with both HDR, right, and low dynamic resolution. So we have, or not we, but Leica has upgraded the camera system in the G2 to be better than what was in the G1. Okay. Now, when I first heard that this was coming out, I'll give you a little story here. I kind of thought, well, all right, what they're going to do is they're going to take all the equipment that is in the BLK360 G1, and they're just going to find a way to cram it into a smaller space. And it's really not going to be any better. But I got to tell you, I was amazed at what they were able to do with this system, right? Not only did they make this better on the cameras, they've added their VIS system, which, if you're not familiar, stands for Visual Inertial System, okay? And that's for point cloud alignment. What it's going to do is allow the scanner to recognize its location, and then as you move the scanner through a space, it's going to use the cameras on the scanner to recognize not only where it was, but where it's going, and then be able to register those two scans together. For those of you who aren't familiar with the term register, stitch together two scans, right? So if we look at the picture here, you'll see that if you scan once and you pick the scanner up and you move it to where that blue dot is, right? We then come in and those two scans are registered together automatically in the CYCLONE field application, okay? So for those of you who are maybe using other scanners that don't have automatic registration, this is a game changer, because we're not having to spend a lot of time in the office putting our data together. This VIS system is assisting us with that stitching together of our point cloud data, right? And anytime maybe the VIS system doesn't work for some reason, right? Maybe you covered all the cameras up by mistake and you walked around with it and it doesn't work. We do have the ability to come in and register the scans ourselves or review what the VIS system did, all in the CYCLONE Field 360 app. Okay. So this is just a couple of scans we took with the BLK. The data looks fantastic, right? And let's talk about fast, right? 640,000 points per second. Well, for some people that doesn't mean anything, right? For some people that means, okay, it collects a lot of points. Well, if we do a comparison, the G1 was at 360 points per second, 360,000 points per second, excuse me. Okay. So the scanner is fast. And again, you know, I can do this PowerPoint all day long and I can tell you how fast it is, but at the end of the day, you're going to want to see what I'm talking about. So we're going to do that here in a little bit. But there are 4 different user settings with this BLK360. Now, this is what they refer to as Fast Plus with HDR pictures. You're not seeing the picture here, of course. I wanted to be able to show just a point cloud. This takes 45 seconds to collect. 45 seconds to get data like this. Well, maybe that's not good enough for you. Okay, let's step it up. What about the fast setting? We've dropped to the plus with HDR. This is 46 seconds. Notice the quality of data, and for 1 second, jumped up pretty significantly. Right? This is a dense plus setting with HDR. It's 55 seconds. And then, of course, dense plus with HDR, minute and 47 seconds. Okay, now these are all timed by us. So these are the times that it takes to run these scans. Look at the quality of data you're getting out of this BLK. And you are not looking at the picture there. You are looking at the point cloud. All right, let's talk about the scanner a little bit. So as we go on here, there's all kind of different parts and pieces. I'm going to leave this up and hit some high points. Of course, you know, if I'm looking at the left side of the screen here, we have a dome now covering the mirror, which we didn't have on the G1, right? If you got dust and dirt in there, your fingers in there with grease, you had to find a way to clean the lens. Of course, we have this nice little cover over it now. Again, moving to the right side here a little bit, or I should say the middle, it's only 6.1 inches high by about 3.1 inches in diameter, so between 3 and 4 inches. Internal storage of 180 gigabytes. And of course, if you want to, you push the button and let the scan run from the scanner. Don't need to have the iPad if you don't want. Don't need to have the BLK Live app if you don't want. We have the same, for those of you who are familiar with the G1, we have the same status indicator. It's a bright green LED, runs right along the bottom, and we're off and running. We have our Viz system and our cameras on the back side of the scanner, if you're looking at the right side picture there. And for some of you who maybe own a G1, depending on which G1 you own, this might be new to you, having a USB-C port on the side of the scanner. That's a big deal, and we'll talk about that maybe going forward here a little bit. Of course, the battery on the back side, you'll notice, for those of you who do have a G1, unfortunately, we're not using the same battery, but it is nice, small, and it's convenient. You're getting about an hour, depending on the settings you use, out of that charge. And we are under 2 pounds. And let me tell you, I have it sitting here right in front of me, and it really is. It's small. So how do we utilize it? Well, I mentioned the BLK Live app just a moment ago. And this is something you can run right on your cell phone. Connect a scanner right to your BLK Live app, and you can run scans right from your cell phone. Right? Now, it does only give us single point export. We can't do the registration like we do in Field 360, but still is a way for us to run the scanner and see the data that we're collecting. We can delete data off the scanner from here. Again, we can look at the data. If we want to go to HXDR, which is a whole nother conversation, we'll leave that out for now, no matter what that is. And of course, we can export to an E57 if indeed we are looking to go to a different software. And then this is probably one of my favorite tools, is CYCLONE Field 360. I just think this is awesome. If you don't have any experience with CYCLONE Field 360, it does allow you to connect directly to your scanner from, in my case, an iPad, but also Android. It utilizes the Viz system to show where the scanner is. So you can tell as you scan through maybe a building that, hey, I've gone down this hallway and I've scanned all these rooms, but now I see where my scanner is and it looks like I missed a room. Okay. So Viz is very important. We can register the scans in the field, tag objects with pictures, videos, add additional point cloud data if we need to. All right, let's talk a little bit about Register 360 BLK edition. We can bring our data directly into Register 360 from the scanner itself with a USB connection. It is fast. If you prefer to use Wi-Fi, you can certainly use Wi-Fi like you did previously, but man, it is fast doing it with the cable. So I really like the cable. Of course, it's going to colorize our point cloud, allow us to look at the pictures, allow us to look at the data, and of course, ultimately get the data out of Register 360 and into something else, like maybe CloudWorks for AutoCAD or CloudWorks for Revit. Right. So let's take a look at the workflow a little bit. We're going to go from our Field 360 app, and that app, as I mentioned, it connects to the scanner, and we can take that data back and forth, right? The data can then go from either the Field app into Register 360, or, as I just mentioned, the USB directly into Register 360. Now, with the new BLK scanner, the data taken directly from the scanner is registered, so we're not worried about individual files or having to do registration. So we just want to take a little comparison here. Of course, there's the G1 there on the left. You can kind of see the size difference. And again, I'm going to bring this up here in a minute and show you. But the size difference is the scanner's 20% smaller than the original G1. And then, of course, the step up from either BLK unit is the RTC 360, which in its own right is just an amazing scanner. You know, if there's something that the smaller units can't handle, I guarantee you the RTC can handle. All right. So let's talk about speed. So as I mentioned earlier, when I first heard that a smaller BLK was coming, I kind of sloughed it off like, they're just going to take the old stuff and put it in a smaller container and it's going to be the same. It's not. It's 5 times faster than the original. And I just can't state it enough. I really can't state enough that it is so much faster than the original G1 that I just can't believe how fast this little scanner is. And so not only is it fast, but let's take a look at some of the data. Now this was data collected by Leica, but you know, I can show you some of my data as well. But look at the difference between the G1 and of course the G2 over here. Notice some of the missing data from the G1, and it's all picked up here with the G2. Okay. So let me take a pause here for a moment, and I'm going to actually kind of come in here and find my Teams app. Bear with me just one second. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just go ahead and turn my camera on here for a moment. All right, so hello everyone. Make sure, Gloria, if you could you just tell me if you can see the camera okay? I'm going to go with that's a yes. So in my right hand here, this is our G2, and you have to pardon me, I'm dealing with a shoulder sling here, so I can only hold this up so high. But this is our brand new G2, and of course the G1 is here in my left hand. So just comparatively, you're seeing it live here, like the size difference in these two units, right? And so I want to make sure that I put those up there so you can see that. And so the unboxing, if you will, is really something that's pretty awesome. So when you take all of this stuff out of the box, some of the things that you're going to look at is, this is, again, I just want to be able to show everybody the reality of it, not on a PowerPoint, right through a webcam. I'm holding things up, that this is the charger that goes with the unit. As you can see, there are 4 slots for the batteries. These batteries just simply pop right out. They are this big, and if you'll take a quick look there at those green lights, there is a battery meter. Oops, sorry about that. There's a battery meter there telling me that that battery is full. So I'm going to take that and set it aside. And then kind of the big unboxing, right, is this is what your scanner fits into. Okay, that's it. And to me, carrying something like this on site is pretty darn convenient. Right? If you want to put it in the mission bag, great. You can certainly do that. But as I pull this open, and I'm going to make sure I don't get some keys on my keyboard here, and pull the scanner out once again, you know, again, as I said earlier, that fits in the palm of my hand, right? That's pretty unbelievable. We'll turn it around here, show you the cameras on the back side for this system, and then we'll show you the cover covering the mirror, as well as right here with the tip of my finger, if you can see that, is the USB port. So that's it. That is just a small little unit. And of course, you can't forget to show the tripod. And again, I've got this already set up just because I've got a bad arm here. But this tripod all folds up nice and neat. I'm sorry I can't fold it down right now again because of my arm, but folds up nice and neat. And that allows us to just simply take our scanner and set it right on top. Okay, so my scanner sets right on top there, and of course I push the button, nice and gentle, and scanner pops on. It takes a moment for it to get started, and it's on its way. All right, so you can hear the fan kind of kicked on. I'm gonna move this out of the way so I don't knock anything over. And I'm gonna push my scanner out of the way a little bit. And let me go ahead and just turn the camera off here. And I'm going to set the scanner just out of the way here a little bit. And what I'd like to do now is take my Teams here, or take my iPad and share that with you. Okay, so obviously you're looking at my iPad, and as I go through this, I want to just kind of demo the different ways that you can scan with a BLK. My goal here is to simply show really how easy this is. I mean, there are certainly some features that there's more to learn, but you know, for all intents and purposes, if I kind of open up the BLK Live app, it's already asking me, do I want to connect to that scanner? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Join the network through my iPad. Ready to go, right? I could come in, I could create a project here, and I can call this right. Done. Start my job, go to the scanner, and hit go. So the scanner started, I've just kind of set it outside my doorway here, and it's running its first scan. Kind of starts the first picture. There's an excellent picture of the corner of my house. But notice how quickly this thing's bombing around here. Right, so that scan finished. Done. Right? So it's downloading right now to my iPad. I'm ready to go. I can go and make another scan. Within this live app, I can go ahead, I can change to different settings. I can turn off my HDR and put the LDR on. I can put pictures off altogether and run it again. So I'm going to just go ahead and, whoops, let me go back one, live. And I'm going to go ahead and put this down to a lower setting and just show you one more time here. Done. Right, no pictures taken. There's my scan. I can go around like this. I can look at it in plan view. I can look at it in 3D. Now, one thing you'll notice is if I pick that scanner up and start to move it, you'll start to see it track. So I just moved it slightly. I'm ready to go. I've set it down. It's already back and ready to run. Right? So very, very quick. I'm going to actually exit this and we'll talk about the Field 360 app. Okay. So let me move this one more time. Okay, so I can come in here and I can create a job in Field 360 on my scanner. Whoops, on my scanner, and I can say demo reg. And if I wanted to, I could take a picture and we'll go ahead and make sure that we're connected to our scanner. All right, we're connected. Okay. Notice the continuity between the interface here. Looks very similar to what I saw in the BLK Live app. So I could come in, I can set my densities, and simply bang, I'm ready to go. Oh my God, of course, a live demo, right? Let's try that again. I think it's because I got my BLK Live app open or something. Let me try this over again. Of course.
Jay, would you like me to ask you some questions while it's restarting?
Sure, you can do that.
You may have already answered this, but what is the accuracy of this unit?
It's 4 millimeters. So it is actually better than the 6 millimeters that we had on the G1.
Okay. Are the scan examples complete 360 or just one view?
Complete 360.
All right. And how long does the battery take to charge?
It's about an hour, hour and a half, I think, is what I had this morning.
Okay. Do you want me to stop here?
Sure. Yeah, let me see if we can get this running here.
And do you know about how long the battery lasts?
It depends on the scan settings. So it could be anywhere from about an hour, I would say on the higher side, to about 40 to 5 minutes or so on the lower side.
Okay, I'm out. Go ahead.
All right, and so this is my scan running now. I don't know what I did earlier to mess that up, but scan's done. Right, light's green on my scanner, so I can actually go ahead and move it. Notice the blinking icon there. That's where I've moved the scanner to. And of course, I'm ready to go again. So as this is kind of finishing up here, one of the things that I often get asked is, oh, well, even though this was a 50-second scan, I got to be standing around for 50 seconds? And the answer to that's no, right? Once you get that first scan done, we're looking at, hey, how do we move on? How do we collect any more data? And of course, with the Field 360 app, there's plenty that we could be doing. Like, for instance, taking a look at maybe other scans, what they collected. Give me one more second here. Are you seeing that on your side, my iPad moving? Because I'm not seeing it moving.
I don't see anything. Oh, stuff's moving.
Okay. I have this running through Teams, so I think it's giving me a little bit of a headache. Right, so there's my scans. Right now, I just had my iPad freeze up. So typically these scans would have been already registered together, but they didn't. So hey, look, sometimes these things happen. We can go ahead and bring our scans together. It may not be downloaded yet, that's why. Just waiting for it to download. Well, while I wait for that, I can do another.
Do you want me to ask you questions or?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Can you have multiple battery charges and switch them out?
You can have multiple batteries charging at the same time and change them, sure.
Okay.
I mean, not while the scanner's running, of course, but you know, you can swap the batteries. I mean, while they're on the, after you grab them off the charger. So I hope that's answering the question.
Okay. And is data connection Wi-Fi or cellular required while scanning?
Oh, great question. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi. So it's Wi-Fi directly from the scanner, though. So it's a common misconception that the you need Wi-Fi on whatever job site you're going to, and that's not the case. It's a direct connection from, in my case, my iPad directly to the scanner. Okay. So if I can, I'm going to just jump in here real quick. I have these two scans in here. Of course, we can see some pictures, right? We can go to 3D, look at the point cloud. Right? And for those of you who wonder why I'm not seeing my ceiling, that's the ceiling there, right? And so, one of the features I like to talk about, and I'm not going to do it here because just again, the scanner's just in the other room, and quite frankly, we're running out of time. I wanted to show something else. But one of the things I do want to talk about is, if there's data that the scanner didn't collect for whatever reason, maybe somebody walked in front of it, maybe it just got blocked out by something. For a while now, Leica's had the ability to add what we refer to as geotags. And the geotags have always been pictures, videos, documents, voice narration, and some text, as well as targets. Well, recently, and it's been a little while now, but recently they added the ability to do 3D. And what does this do? This allows us to use the LiDAR capability on the iPad to collect supplemental point cloud data. So you can actually use the LiDAR camera on your scanner, on your iPad, to be able to collect data that's maybe getting behind a piece of equipment, or data that you maybe wouldn't want to rely on as being super accurate, but to be able to see what's behind that piece of equipment. So you can capture that data as well. Okay. Now, I'm going to switch gears here a little bit and talk about importing data. And when we import data, I mentioned earlier about being able to connect our data, and I'm not going to do the import right here again, just a time factor, but I was able to connect the G2 through a USB-C cable and download that data. Now, what I did was I set a timer on my phone, and I ran 3 scans. I took the scanner, connected it to the USB cable, and I went ahead and imported that data, right? Great, done. That all took roughly about 10 minutes. Now, doing the same scans and importing the data through Field 360 using the G1 took about 30 minutes. So that's a big time difference, right? I mean, if I look at the scans, the scanner is actually about 5 times faster. The data is getting it transferred across faster. So, I mean, we're talking about a huge time difference there, all just based on the scanner and its import. So one thing I wanted to show, which my wife's going to kill me for sharing our house on a webinar, but hey, that's all right. We're going to come in here, and I just want to show the G1 and its capabilities, right? So if I come into a setup cloud here, and we start to kind of spin, and I'm going to turn the point cloud data off. it snowed here today. So kind of looking out, it's kind of bright outside. This is regular imagery. So pretty much you can see things are just getting washed out, right? Don't look too great. All right, well, I did take HDR with this. So let's turn the HDR on. Wow, that's a lot better, right? Not bad at all. So we'll spin around this way, and you can kind of see this is with HDR photos and auto brightness turned on. And again, this is the G1. Let's see what the G2 did in the same spot. Turn off my point cloud data. Much brighter there, right? Look at the warmness of the wood and just completely different. And that's not even with HDR. Let's turn HDR on. Okay, a much clearer picture, especially if you look in the trees here. And if we turn this way with HDR on and auto brightness, again, brighter, brighter. If we turn the auto brightness off, we can even brighten this up a little bit if we want to, and spin back this way, and we can turn it back down if we need to look back outside. So I wanted to be able to show you that data. And then of course, from here, we can do everything that we did with the G1, the workflow from here to get to, again, maybe an Autodesk product is just getting our data out and publishing it to a format that is going to be acceptable in that CloudWorks application I mentioned earlier. And for us, that means that's an LGS file or possibly a CYCLONE enterprise data set if I have an enterprise server set up. Or if you're going somewhere else, there are plenty of other formats that we can export to. Right? All right, so let me hit this and we'll swap. And we'll go to questions.